So hey there guys, today I'm talking to you about the 8 limbs of yoga. So I've done some work on this in terms of blogs, and we've chatted about it for those of you that have been in my classes and my circles. But for those of you that still are just sort of trying to get your head around the fact that yoga is not just movement, this is just a little short video for you to watch instead of sort of trolling through the internet or going onto the blogs and reading it. I know we're all short on time. So yoga is not just movement. Oh my goodness, let me say that again. It is not just movement. Yoga is a whole way of life, and you can call it a lifestyle. It's not particularly a religion, but it is a way of constructing your actions and the way you deal with yourself and with people, and generally how you balance your life. It can guide you in those directions. So if you love the movement, the asana, then fabulous. And that might just be as far as you go at the moment. You might love the breathing, which is the pranayama. That might be all that you want to do, but there is so much more, and I really want to share it with all of you. Now, I have been teaching for about 8 years. I love yoga with all of my being. There is so much that I don't know, so I am learning a lot of this along with you, and I just want to share it in the easiest possible way. So this is not an in-depth guide to all of the elements of yoga. This is a little introduction for you so that you can seek out other information and I can point you in other directions. So the 8 limbs of yoga, let's go through them. So I've mentioned the asana. So asana basically means physical movement. This is all the postures that you do, whether that is standing, seated, in a chair, anything movement and body based. There is a pranayama. So this is the breathing. This is where we control our breath when we're mindful of our breath. And there are so many different types of pranayama, from just sort of the 3-part breath to the alternate nostril breathing, which is called Nadi Shodhan, and to many, many more, Kapalbhati breath, lion's breath. And I'll be going into some of these throughout the next few months when we go a little bit more into pranayama. There is the yamas and the niyamas, and we've been discussing this in our online circles through the Sanctuary Sisters. And we've already started talking about truthfulness, which is satya. And also, what did we do last week? Oh my goodness, I have forgotten. What did we do? Brahmacharya, which can be loosely translated into not excess, expending your energies, right, etc. I'm not going to go into the yamas and niyamas right now because that I will do separately. But the yamas and the niyamas are basically very loose rules, guidelines, may we say, to how to have a better life, how to have a more well-rounded, thought out, mindful life that will see you grow as a person and will see you reach wherever you want to reach, whether that is to get more in touch with the divine, more in touch with yourself. It's those guidelines will help you achieve that. And some of them are very simple, like non-violence. Some of them are a little bit more complicated, like self-discipline. Couldn't we all use a little bit more self-discipline? So I'll go into those a little later, but if you hear us talk about the yamas and the niyamas in yoga, then that's what they are. They're basically guidelines to life. So then you have pratyahara. Please do excuse my pronunciation as well, because, well, I'm from the Midlands, so that's my excuse. This means withdrawal of the senses. So an interesting one. Stepping away from the senses. You know, we often say that we can be fooled by what we see or what we hear. Sometimes what's around us can distract us from actually what's going on. So withdrawing the senses can be a really interesting one to explore, and one that we will talk further about. There is dhyana, which is meditation. So, we're all fairly familiar with certain different types of meditation, whether we find it easy or a little challenging. So that is another part of it. There is a samadhi, which is union. Union with whatever you feel is right for you. So for me, I believe in a divine spirit, whether you call that the divine mother, Mother Earth, God, Allah, Buddha, anyone, whatever you call it, the divine. There's something that is higher than you. And that can even just be the energy around you, the people around you, however you want to bring it into your life. There is dharana, which is concentration. You could also call it mindfulness. So obviously it's slightly different to meditation, being more present and concentrating more on whatever it is you are doing. And you can see that we can mix some of these. So for asana, we can mix it with dharana to be mindful. So we can be mindfully moving, and that in with pranayama, with breathing, we can be mindfully moving and breathing. So they all work together to bring you this deeper sense of understanding for yourself. So we've got asana, which is movement. We've got pratyahara, which is withdrawal of the senses. Dhyana, which is meditation. Samadhi, which is union. Dharana, which is mindfulness. Pranayama, which is the breath. And then we've got the yamas and the niyamas, which is yamas is basically self-restraints. Niyamas is observances, things that you do. So it's almost a little list of what you do and what you don't do. And those are the 8 limbs of yoga. Most of us are most familiar with, like I said, the moving, the breathing, possibly the meditation, maybe the mindfulness as well. The rest of them are there to explore in and out of class. And I hope you really will take the time to have a look at them.